Hey there, and welcome to Grow, or Shade Harvest. Uh, so Grow is the GitHub name, Shade Harvest is the name I gave it. This is a hot seat board game clone of Photosynthesis by Blue Orange Games. I set myself a goal to make some board games from Blue Orange and some other creators, and this is just one that I picked that sounded interesting and thought I could do it. So it runs in your browser. You can access it at chriscard.name/grow, and it's 2 to 4 players. It implements all the rules of the official game. There's a few options you can take before you start, and there's also instructions listed. So I'm going to go over the instructions first, and it'll give you an overview of how to actually play the game. So it's worthwhile going over. So the first thing you can do is select a few option modes. One is shade trees cannot perform actions. That means if your tree is in the shade, you can't grow it or throw seeds from it. And the second one is 4 trips of the sun. So in this game, the sun has 6 sides. So if you imagine each of these being a straight line here, anyways, the sun goes 6 different directions. So each of these 6 sides of the hex, the sun will shine on. And a normal game, the sun will go around the board 3 times. This option here, it's an extended one more time. So instead of 18, it'll be 24 turns. So in order to enable these options, you just click it, and then you click the how many players you want to start the game. So yeah, let's just go over how the game works. So normally the sun moves. So this is each round. Normally the sun moves to the next side, but the first round it just starts on the bottom there. So when the sun is moved 18 or 24 times, the game's over, and then the scoring is complete. The sun comes 6 sides of the board. The winner of the game has the highest score. Now you'll see 2 things here. You see energy and score. Energy is like sort of points you spend to do actions. A score is how you win the game. Players score an extra 1 point. So you score by cutting down trees. Okay, so you cut down large trees, you get a certain amount of points. The points diminish as the game goes along. As people harvest trees, you get less and less points. So it pays more to be first in a certain area. Also, it pays more to be near the center of the board than the outside of the board. And we can go over that in a little bit. Yes. So if there's a tie for the points at the end, the winner that has the most trees and seeds on the board wins. If a tie remains, then there's just a tie. So at the start of a round, everyone collects energy. So you move the sun, and then everyone collects energy. So depending on which pieces you have, you collect energy for the pieces you have on the board. 0 for seeds, so they don't collect anything. 1 for a small tree, 2 for medium, and 3 for large. So that's cool, except your trees can be blocked by other trees. They can be blocked by your own trees or another player's trees. So if a tree is in between your tree and the sun, and it's larger or the same size, so let's say you have a medium tree and there's another medium tree right beside you, or even up to 1 space away, then that'll block. But if you have a large tree and there's a medium tree in between you and the sun, then you score the points, and they can score the points too. You have to look more towards the sun on their side to see if they score. So if another tree is between you and the sun, and is larger or the same size, your tree may be blocked by a shadow and you not gain energy. Now, shadows only go so long, so shadows are different sizes for different trees. So if the tree is between you and the sun, the tree is larger or the same size, and the tree is within so many spaces. 1 for small, 2 for medium, 3 for large. Another note here, any energy earned over 20 is lost. So if you just hoard energy the whole time, it'll be lost. So if you have a tree here, okay, the sun is coming this way. So if you have a tree here and a tree here, this tree will block this tree with a shadow. Now, this tree is bigger, it'll score energy, and this one will score energy. If they're the same size, this one will score and this one won't. If this one's smaller, again, this one will score and this one won't. A seed doesn't block any light. So every time the sun moves, there's a round, and the player that goes first in one round is not the player that goes first in the next round. It changes who goes first. So that changes. So when it's your turn, so after everyone's scored their points, and you're the player who gets actions, you can do any amount of actions you want. There's no limit. So what you do is you spend your energy points to perform actions. So you can perform a number of different actions here. You can grow a tree. So that's taking a tree from one size or seeds and growing it to the next size. What you have to do is take the next size from your activated section on your board and replace the smaller tree with the bigger one. Now, trees can only get one action on them a turn, so you can't like grow a tree twice, or like you can't throw a seed from a tree and then grow it, or you can't plant a seed and then grow it. You just get to use it once. And you can't cut down a tree and then throw a seed in its place on the same turn. So yeah, who's growing a tree? So a tree to a bigger size. You can harvest a large tree. So the large trees are the third size, or fourth size from seed anyways. And you harvest it and you score points. And we can go over the score earlier, but the score is based on this color on the board. The ones closer to the middle score more. But there's only so many points to score in each one. And if we run out, then it just goes to the next yellowest color, let's say. So what you can do is also plant a seed. So what you have to do is have an activated seed, and then you can use one of your trees you haven't used yet this turn on the board, and you can select an open space to plant the seed. That one's a typo. So trees can plant seeds at different distances depending on their size. So a small tree, you can go one space away, medium 2, and 3 for large. You can activate a tree or seed. So what happens is you need to spend energy. We'll see our boards in a little bit, but you need to spend energy to get access to trees and seeds. And there's only a certain amount of trees and seeds you can hold. So if you take a tree or a seed off the board, and you have sort of like a reserve and an active section, and in the reserve section, if you go over a certain limit, that piece is actually gone from the game. So if the reserve only holds 4 seeds, and you grow a seed, and it becomes 5, you don't get 5 seeds in your reserve. That seed is gone from the game. So that's another little gotcha. So another thing you can do is so you can activate it. So you buy it and then you can use it. You can even use it that turn. So that's fine. And then you can end your turn. So you end your turn, it goes to the next player. And once all the players have had their turn, And the cycle continues. The sun moves, everyone scores energy. It's another player's turn first, and then the players do their actions, spending energy points, chopping down trees, scoring points, growing trees, etc. And then the other parts here are just sort of the interface. Actions can be canceled, so anything you do part way, you can cancel it. Unavailable actions are not active, so if something you can't do, the game will force your hand into not being able to try. And there's reasons some actions become unavailable, so you don't have enough energy to spend it. It won't let you click on it to buy it. Let's say you used all your you did something with all your trees on the board. You grew both of them or whatever. Then you can't do anything else on that board. You might have no activated pieces in your placeholder, so you spent them all. Even though you have energy, none are activated, so you can't do anything. And then, yes, the other one is the optional one where the piece, let's say you want to grow a tree, but it's in the shade, and then you can't. So that's an option. So we can turn off these instructions. You can turn them on and off at each point, and it just shows and hides them in case you need to take a look. So we're going to start a 2-player game here. At the start of the game, you take turns placing trees, and you place them in the yellow section on the edge of the board. So let's put a couple beside each other. Okay, and then the game scores energy. Now, here we have a look at our board, and we'll just quickly go over that. So each player gets sort of a play mat, and then so they have a color, a name of that color, the energy, how many moves the sun has moved, so 0 at the moment. And then this shows where the sun is coming from, so it's coming from the bottom. And the score, as you see, green has its own little background card and similar stuff. So up here is the activated section, and here are your seeds, your tree, small tree, medium tree, large tree, and the action to cut. And then here's your placeholder. So this is sort of like your reserve. So you can you spend energy, now it shows you how much energy these cost, to move from your reserve to the activated section. You can have as many as you want in the activated section. There's a certain limit in the reserve. And then cut. So if you have a tree on the board that is this size, the big size, you can cut it. Now the trees all look different depending on your player. And then we'll show you the 4-player version in a little bit. Now down here is the sort of next scoring chart. And I have a little tooltip. I forgot about that. So this is the green section. Now if you're playing with 2 players, the dark green is just the same as this one. And if you use all these up, so if 5 people score in the 2 middle sections, then it just goes to this next one here. So this will be empty. This will say it's empty, and it'll go to the next score. And then this tells you who the current user is, so whose turn it is. And this one tells you whose turn it is first. So if you have like no energy, all this stuff's going to be grayed out. So it might look like it's not your turn, but so this will help you. And then there's a little log down here of what happened. So let's say I want to throw a seed. So I go from my activated section, I click on the seed, I click on one of my trees. The trees are highlighted in white here. The other thing you can see is the board gets a little bit gray here, and that's because the shadow of these trees goes this far. And this one is actually grayed out the tree because the tree can't score any energy this turn. So we're gonna cancel out because we changed our mind. Maybe we want to instead grow a tree. So let's grow that tree. All right, we're out of energy here. So we're just gonna have to end our turn. There's nothing else we can do. Now the sun didn't move, it's just green's turn. So green's gonna take a different strategy and plant a seed. So we select a tree, and you can see it's 1 square away. We can plant our seed now. We can't plant it here because there's a tree here. And we can plant it here, but it's in the shade at the moment. So we're going to plant it in this green section here. We're out of energy, so there's nothing more to do. So let's end our turn. Now, I may have pressed that twice by accident. So it's red's turn. Now we're going to throw a seed. We're going to do it from this bigger tree. As you can see, you can go 2 spaces out, and you can even go around and over trees and stuff. So we're going to go here. And we have more stuff to do. Let's buy it. Activate a tree. Okay, so we'll finish that turn. Yeah, so I did accidentally press it. Finish turn twice. So let's take one of our seeds here, and let's take one of our activated small trees and grow it. Let's buy another seed, activate another seed, and then we're going to throw another seed. Now, we just changed this one, so we can't throw a seed from it, but this one we can. I'm going to make one of our trees big. And I still have energy left, but I'm going to save it for later. So I'm going to take this tree, buy a large tree, activate a large tree. Here I'm going to turn my seed into a tree. Buy a medium tree and a large tree here. Alright, so we're going to grow a large tree for green. And turn. Now the sun moves. So right now you can see this cut is activated. So cutting costs 4 energy. And we're going to cut our green tree here. So green is in the yellow section here, so it's going to score 14 points. So you see 14 points. And we're going to end our turn. So we're going to cut our big tree here, and it's 14 points as well. But now you see this change to 13 from 14, and there's only so many left here on the board. So yeah, down here there's a log. Okay. And eventually it goes, and then the game ends. It tells you who won. So we're going to take a look now is just the 4-player mode to get an idea of how that looks. So it's red's turn, it's green's turn, it's blue's turn, and it's orange's turn. And you each get to place your 2 trees. Now here the screen's much wider. You see there's 4 different player boards. And also, this section has been activated here, the scoring for the very middle space. There's only 3 tags on it. So once you score 3 times, it'll be empty, and it'll be like, it'll go to the next one. Similar, you have a log here. So as you see, the icons are a little bit different. But the game still has the same amount of moves. The sun still goes around 3 times. So if we just hammer finish turn, we'll see what sort of an end game state looks like. Let's see here. Let's buy a bigger tree. We'll cut it. So that was it. That was the end game. If we want shaded trees cannot perform actions, then let's take a look at that, what that looks like. So let's say this one, I want to throw a seed. I can do it here. But now it's green's turn, and green wants to throw a seed, but this tree is in the shade, so I can't. In a normal game mode, you would be able to do that. So if I had this one, I can throw a seed, and this is the normal game mode, it's in the shade, I can throw a seed. And then the other mode is 4 trips around the sun. Just give ourselves a little score. The sun moves. There you go. And then down here, it'll tell you who the winner is. So red's final score is 20. Green's final score is 6. So you get the 6 score from having the 20 energy. And this gets +6. Okay, and then you want to play a new game, you click that. This is just hot seat. If you have any comments, you can send me an email. It's down below here. And if you want to look at the source code and make some changes if you want, or add issues, and this GitHub link down here. So it's github.com/ccarrstr/grow. And my email is ccarrstr@gmail.com. My name's Chris. Thanks for listening.